Okay, so the maximum effort method. What is the maximum effort method? The maximum effort method is a method in which you perform a 1 rep max. And the reason for this is to strain and to train your CNS to strain. Your central nervous system, also known as the central nervous system, uh, will be able to adapt the more you do 1 rep maxes. And it's also theorized that the more you do 1 rep maxes, the less your form will break down, uh, and therefore you will be able to gain more strength off of it. It's all about an adaptation process and being able to strain under heavy loads. And so on a lower body day, you will, well, actually, first I should address that every single week you do 1 max, you will be changing the exercise. For novices, you really only need to stick to like 6 exercises that you will rotate between. But for more advanced lifters, you should like be changing it all the time, really. And so on lower body day, you'll be performing a squat or deadlift variation, uh, or a good morning. Uh, and so the squat or deadlift variation can be really any type of thing. It could be regular squat, it could be banded squat, it could be box squat, it could be banded box squat, front squat. There's just so many to choose from. And deadlift, the regular deadlift, there's sumo deadlift, there's deadlift with chains, deadlift with bands. Just anything you can think of that's different from the regular deadlift or regular exercise, you should be doing, really. And the reason for this is because you'll be able to recover from doing it. Really, your body does know the movements and adapt to them, and you will actually be very susceptible to injury if you continue to train under very heavy loads above 90%. You will overtrain if you continue to do the same movements over and over and train them every week. And so for the good mornings, you should be doing a 5 rep max or a 3 rep max. You should not be doing 1 rep max with good mornings. They're just not productive and they're just more dangerous. And then after that, you will do a supplemental lift, which if you're doing a squat 1 rep max, I recommend doing a good mornings or a deadlift variation for your supplemental lift. This should be generally pretty heavy as well. It should be like 5 reps, like a 5x5 or 3x5. But it can be lighter too. Like, for example, if you wanted to do a deadlift variation or like an actual deadlift after you squatted, I would recommend doing high reps because you're just not going to be able to recover from that if you just did a 1 rep max squat. For upper body day, or actually I should actually talk about accessories too. Accessories could be anything that targets the glute or the lower back, the hamstrings, the quads, or the glutes. It should be really more of an isolation lift. So this could be a belt squat. A lot of people don't know what a belt squat is. It's just when you attach the weight to a belt, like a dip belt, you stand on a platform and you squat. This will only use your legs and no lower back at all. And this is what a lot of people at West Side Barbell use. And another accessory you could do is the glute ham raise. That is very used much of the West Side Barbell. If you don't have a glute ham raise machine though, you should use a hamstring curl, and then after that maybe do a hyperextension to work the low back and glutes as well. And the list goes on, really. It's just a lighter, very lighter lift. It should not be like a compound lift like a squat or a front squat or a deadlift. Never should it be that heavy. It should be like a movement involving like 1 or 2 muscles. And for upper body, it will be a bench. You will be doing a 1 rep max bench variation. So this could be a floor press, it could be a bench press, it could be a bench press with bands, it could be a floor press with chains, it could be a board press, just any bench press variation. And what I do recommend is that you should not be doing a partial lift back to back. For example, 1 week you do a floor press, the next week you should not do another max effort board press, for example, because those are 2 partial lifts. You should do a floor press and then maybe a bench press with bands, because that's the full range of motion that you should be getting. And then I do recommend for supplemental lifts, you should be doing, if you did a bench press variation, maybe you should be doing a overhead pressing. And if you did an overhead 1 rep max, I recommend doing the bench variation for your supplemental lift. It should also be heavy like the squats. Like on lower body day, it should be like a 5x5 or a 5x3. I mean, a 3x5. It could be a 5x3 too, if you wanted. And for accessories, these should be also lighter, as I mentioned before. Accessories could be like dips, like weighted dips. It could be dumbbell shoulder press, although a lot of people would use those at their supplemental lift. It could be... Actually, I should not say dips are an accessory. That should be a supplemental lift as well, especially if it's a weighted dip. Maybe you could use a bodyweight dip and do as many reps as possible with that, and then that would be considered your accessory lift. It could also be like a lateral raise. It could be flies. It could be back movement. You should also be doing a lat movement on your upper body day. I recommend that. But it should be at least 2 accessory lifts, one for your back and one for your shoulders, pecs, really anything, arms, triceps. It should definitely have a tricep movement in there somewhere. And that is basically what the max effort method is. And I hope you enjoyed that video.